Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the AOS Tech Report. Matt and Corey here, fielding your questions about technology. Specifically, this week's episode is about the reopening of Ontario and businesses getting back to normal. Vaccines have been rolling out, so hopefully this lockdown ending is here to stay. We're gonna field some questions about reopening, specifically around what customers should be doing in terms of upgrading their technology coming out of this lockdown. Corey, I'll turn it over to you for what you're hearing from your customers in the area.
Yeah, I think exactly what we said. People are looking to get back into the office, do it safely, obviously from a health standpoint, but then from a technology standpoint, all the while remaining productive. So, what I've heard a lot of from business owners is this idea of a balanced schedule for employees. So, by that I mean, some days you're going to work from home, some days you're going to work in the office. And the concern around that is, how do I do that productively? So the tech that we're looking at in those areas is, how do we create document workflows so that information transfers seamlessly, right, from the days where you're working at home to the days where you're working in the office, and vice versa, and between different team members. So that collaboration has to stay on point. So, Matt, like, what types of technologies would we be talking about when we're doing that?
Yeah, so if you haven't already done so, you got to kind of switch over to an Office 365 platform. Everyone is using it for collaborative working, mobile working, and just all around ease of use of sharing documents. So a lot of the customers I've been speaking to and the business owners in the area have been telling me that if they're going to be offering kind of it's up to them, the employee, to choose whether they'd like to come into the office or work remotely. Before even a year ago, customers were saying they're going to implement a hybrid workforce, or this is only temporarily. They're not going to have everyone working from home all the time. Now it's becoming a perk that people are offering employees. It's kind of attracting them to the business, attracting talent, where they're giving them the opportunity to choose which way they like. So if you haven't already done so, I think upgrading your platform to Office 365 and enabling those premium features like Microsoft Teams is definitely a step one for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, the other thing everyone's talking about is the idea of upgrading the phone system. So how do we upgrade a phone system, and why? So a big part of that is the idea of being able to create some synergies between the days where you're in the office and out of the office. And some of the things that are top of mind are find me, follow me solutions, where your phone can ring at the office on the days where you're at the office, and then it can be forwarded to your cell phone so seamlessly on the
Yeah,
days where you're not, so that there's not a lot of lag between what has to happen from a productivity standpoint, as it, in terms of speaking on the telephone, which has been really helpful. And then the other side of that too, another one of our big partners is Xerox, and things like, using the mobile app, things like DocuShare. These types of technologies allow people to work in different areas and simulate an in-office experience so easily, right? And
absolutely.
I think that's going to be really important. And then the last part of that is, Matt, how do I do that securely, right?
Yeah.
How do I set
Security
that
is
up
a
so
huge,
that,
yeah, a huge question for sure.
right, like, you're doing it in the office this day, you're doing it at home this day. How are we going to do that securely, right?
Yeah, I mean, just jumping on the security point. I mean, consulting with an IT company, if you do not have an in-house IT department, staff member, or anyone kind of helping you control and monitor your network, definitely reach out to us at AOS. We do network assessments for our customers to pinpoint the vulnerabilities in their network. And really provide them a comprehensive roadmap that stretches out to 5 years. Things that you should prioritize now, things that you should prioritize at the 2 year mark, 3, 4, and 5 years down the road. So you got to have that in place, because cyber insurance is actually a thing, believe it or not. And you're going to have to show your insurance provider that you're doing your due diligence, locking down your network, protecting your data, your files, and your network as a whole.
Yeah, and what a great way to show your insurance company. Yeah, these are the things that I'm putting in place. And the other part of that too, I mean, you mentioned the network assessment. It's really out of a pretty bad situation, a very troubling and challenging time in a lot of different ways. It impacted business in so many different ways. But if you look at it with the positive stroke, it's saying what a great opportunity to set these things up for what the next 5 years are going to look like, right? So many things just changed. We all talked about getting back to a level of normalcy, and what the new normal would be. I think we're starting to understand what that's going to look like. So for me and the business owners that I speak with, they're looking at it saying, this is great because we're going to have an opportunity to leverage all of the stuff that we just went through and learned, and then create a 5-year, 10-year plan of what my technology is going to look like, but more importantly, how that's going to help me succeed in our business, right?
Exactly.
So I think there's a big positive with that respect, and I'm glad you brought up the idea of the network assessment.
Yeah, so in summary, enabling a mobile workforce, work from anywhere, and security, security, security. You got to make sure your network is locked down. Not Ontario, but your network is locked down. So we'll end it there. But thank you everyone for listening and watching. Keep the questions coming in, and we'll see you next month.
Thanks, everyone. Talk to you soon.